Guys, welcome to January 2024. My name is Bob K6UDA, your drama-filled host. And I can't think of a much better way to start off the new election year than with a little drama and controversy in the form of the ARRL. Stand by, this one's going to get fun. This time on K6UDA Radio. Let's do this. I have in my hand a renewal notice from the ARRL, and I'm trying to figure out, is it worth it once again to pay for an ARRL membership? As you may remember, 4 or 5 years ago, had a little kerfuffle with the ARRL. And as a result, not because of what the ARRL said, more about what the ARRL didn't do, I decided to let my membership lapse. I voted with my pocketbook. Last year, I decided, you know what? Let's give the ARRL another shot. Paid my membership dues and went happily along my way. I received my magazine. Everything was okay. I noticed that things really hadn't changed a whole lot. The league wasn't doing what I would consider yeoman's work in protecting the radio spectrum or doing the things that we would like the ARRL to do. Basically stand up for our rights as radio operators, Americans, that kind of thing. So anyway, just going about my thing. And oh yeah, by the way, you'll notice that I hadn't put out a K6UDA video in a minute. I took the holidays off, and then the day after Christmas, I came down with the Rona, and been coughing and hacking for a couple of weeks. I'm getting better, thank you. Anyway, yesterday, I get an email from a viewer who says, "Hey, check this out." Not entirely shocked. I still don't know what to make of a lot of it, but what it boils down to is the ARRL is trying to pass some new bylaws, and one of these bylaws has to do with who the board of directors is really responsible to. Are they responsible, or do they have a fiduciary duty to us, the members who pay for the ARRL, or do they have a fiduciary duty to the corporation, the ARRL corporation? And what if they don't agree? Because I really don't know what the hell I'm talking about here. I've got somebody on that does. I'm going to put the glasses on. I'm going to put the headphones on. We're going to bring in Rhea N2RJ. Rhea knows exactly what is going on with this thing.
So the actual official title that I just pulled up here is the Board Members' Statement on Authority, Responsibility, and Expectations. It looks innocent enough, but it has several problems. And based on past history, our concern really among my friends who are on the board, that they've expressed publicly is that this could be weaponized to essentially remove directors, and it's designed to be weaponized to get everybody to walk in lockstep with the CEO and the president, and basically just not have board members have the level of transparency. Now, the other thing that this, there are several other revelations that have come to pass, and we'll discuss some of those too.
What concerned me when I saw this, and I really don't know all the ins and outs, but this duty of confidentiality and who says what is confidential, who decides what is confidential, and what it looks like is if you, as a board of director member, disagrees with something, or you have questions, or I, as a member, have a question, you can't discuss it with me.
So you can, but what will happen in practice is that you will be given a canned response, something that's blessed by counsel, something that's essentially the CEO will be controlling the message, because this is what this is all about. So you cannot give your honest opinion, on something essentially that is a board matter. In some contexts this makes sense, but the ARRL is a membership organization, and having your individual directors, who are your local representatives, not able to give you their take on why they voted, and instead of having to give a canned response from headquarters, is pretty disturbing. I've been an advocate for live streaming the board meetings, because I think that, or at least providing audio recordings, because I've been in that room. The debate has gotten pretty heated, and there are things that the members need to know. And you mentioned some things about HR issues. Well, yeah, most HR issues should be private, but frankly, when it comes to things like compensation of the CEO and how we arrived at that number, that should be public, because the IRS actually requires publishing all the salaries of highly compensated employees at nonprofit charities or nonprofit organizations. So, why is this such a secret? I think anything pretty much involving the lower level staff, unless they're in a public criminal matter, right, that's publicly disclosed, and of course it should be private. But anything that's like, the CEO, the higher level, higher paid staff, I think honestly, they have that responsibility. They're public figures. They should, things should be definitely out in the open.
So, how can members of a membership organization be informed of potential information if board members can't even discuss any of these subjects honestly without fear of being, banished, fired? And how can they fire you if only the members that voted for you are allowed to remove you?
So this is the thing, and I have personal experience with this, right? And whether people or not agree, with the root cause, I will tell you my personal experience is that they were looking for a way to get rid of me. And the way that they tried, first of all, is that the original motion that was, lodged against me with regards to the book issue would have resulted in a full, what you call disqualification. And when we discussed it, the CEO, David Minster, was like very clear, saying how, no, 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 we're not removing her from the board. All we are doing is disqualifying her. Well, that is kind of like removing me from the board, because I would not be able to attend the board meetings. I would just, come, and then after the initial greetings, I would go outside and sit in the hallway. Okay? So, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck. What they've said essentially is that since Connecticut law doesn't allow anybody but the person who elected that class of, membership to remove a director, they put an end around that in the bylaws now, which says how they can remove you by supermajority. And their whole thing is now saying, well, yeah, it's a supermajority. The reality is, though, that right now they have that supermajority walking in lockstep. Okay, and I'll explain about the shadow board and why that's important too. The shadow board. The shadow board is essentially a group of directors that meets regularly via Zoom, right? I've been told that they have Zoom calls. And Mike Resbeck, the current first VP of the ARRL, actually documented this in his report to the board, which has been disseminated to various contest clubs and other places. And what he's saying is that the board, the shadow board, the 10 yes men, and one woman. So that's 10, including that one person, will meet in secret. They will not take any minutes that are published. They will not, report their findings to the board. And then they will have a majority to make decisions, essentially nullify the other five. So, there's no open debate, right? Everything is predetermined.
Wow. And this is going on at the ARRL right now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And I find the shadow board to be the worst part of this because, when I would obviously not have been on that if I was still on the board. And what they would do essentially is they would meet in secret. I would not have a chance to raise my concerns about anything they bring up until the final board meeting. And they could just ignore me anyway because, they will just listen to us, pay lip service, and then 10 of them will vote in lockstep anyway.
Wow, that's unreal.
Hmm.
This bylaw proposal, this code of conduct, you obviously don't agree with this. You don't think that this should be brought forward or passed or made into a bylaw?
So I think I have a slightly different take. I think I don't support it. But at the same time, I'm saying, okay, you know what? Go ahead and pass it. And let the members see who passed it. And let the members decide whether this is a good thing or not. I think, it'll truly expose those who are intent on not serving the members and instead serving themselves.
Well, okay, so now when you say not serving the members and serving themselves, give me an example.
They have a proposal now to stop the HOA lobbying, okay? And let's say that because that's been an issue for years, and some people agree and some people don't agree. But, if they meet in secret and decide, well, next meeting we're going to vote to just end all those lobbying efforts, right? And then the 5 directors, some of whom, by the way, have been actually in Congress talking to Congress people, and who got actual action from Congress, right? That symbol rate change was a direct result of congressional attention to amateur radio and the ARRL. So they might decide, well, let's stop that, and then we'll bring that motion in the main board meeting. People will kind of oppose it, but then they'll be powerless to stop it because you have those 10 directors walking in lockstep who could just do it because they already predetermined the outcome.
Okay, let's talk about the magazine.
Mm-hmm.
I have my opinion about. I don't think it's a good idea to end the physical magazine for most people unless they want to pay a 43% increase in their dues. QST Magazine. Now, QST Magazine has been around for, I don't know, probably close to 100 years. Started out as kind of a nothing little magazine. I think it's going to end as a little nothing, not even a magazine. Why? Because the league is going to stop sending out QST. They're going to stop the physical magazine. They're going to give you access to an online magazine. I get it. Okay, a lot of you guys don't care. You say, hey, that's fine. I read everything on my iPad or my Kindle or whatever. Here's my thinking on QST Magazine. When I was a brand new ham, when I had just gotten licensed, the first thing guys in the club that I went to, and I was just joining the club, the first thing that they said was join the ARRL, get the magazine and start reading the magazine, start getting a feel for what you're doing. And I did. I immediately joined the ARRL, paid my dues. I think it was $48 at the time. It's since gone up to $58, and that included QST Magazine. And I remember as a brand new ham, not knowing anything about this hobby, I used to look at all the ads in QST. I used to look at the pictures because I was stupid. I didn't know what I didn't know. And QST kind of brought me into the fold. I started to learn about different types of radios. I started to learn about all the little things, especially in the back of the magazine, the small ads, the quarter page ads, the eighth page ads. Trust me, if you've ever read the magazine, you know what I'm talking about. If I want to continue to get that physical magazine, it's now going to cost me $84, a 43% increase in my dues in 1 year just to get the, I hate to kind of say it, but it's the one physical benefit that I as a member get from the ARRL. Monetarily, I think they're going to lose members, because as far as I could see from my just a everyday member, I don't see any other physical benefit of being a member. I don't, and I may be wrong. I may be completely wrong here, but I don't see the league reaching out and saying, hey, we're offering you insurance benefits here or this benefit over here. It was always just, I got the magazine and hey, we're working for Spectrum Defense. And there was really never any other talk about it. My other concern is the advertising dollars that the league is getting right now from the magazine. They're going to lose that very, very quickly. Advertisers are going to very quickly figure out that they don't get an ROI when people aren't looking at the magazine, because it's out of sight, out of mind. I don't go to the ARRL website every day and look at it, but when that magazine comes in my mailbox, I read it and I see the ads and I see what's new. And I think a lot of other people and a lot of new hams, that's how they get hooked. I don't know. What say you, Rhea?
The insult to injury to this is that the magazines are not even in a good format. They're behind this proprietary app called PageSuite, which, you could still make PDFs, but it doesn't produce good PDFs. And it also doesn't work on some devices. So, there are several things that are going wrong. But the advertisers are a good point. Advertisers, most of them want to see their stuff printed because they know that somebody could leave that magazine somewhere and somebody will pick it up. It's something you hold in your hand. And an advertiser, whereas a page on a screen, you could just flip that by. Whereas you're flipping through with your fingers, you're more likely to stop on an ad. So I think it's detrimental. I think, but I do think the main thing is that the people who bought multi-year memberships, right, at the very least, their purchase should have been honored, their contract. Meaning that if you bought a membership for 3 years, their membership contract should have been honored. And, and cut them off at the end, okay? But if they paid for that, if I paid for something up front, if I buy a 3-piece chicken meal at Popeyes and they tell me, well, we're raising the price, you only get 2, but we still pay for 3, but we already took your money, right? They did that while they're preparing the thing.
Mm-hmm.
How would that feel?
I completely agree with that.
There are real benefits, to be fair. There are benefits such as the technical information service, and there are a few other benefits, especially for DXers and contesters in particular. They have like DXCC and all that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to, like, if I buy a membership in AAA, I'm getting roadside assistance. Even in the NRA, I have, I'm an instructor, right? And I have benefits as an instructor, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and all the things, but they have their own issues. They're probably not a good example, but I know Wayne LaPierre is going away. Yay.
Yay. Rhea, real quick,
Yeah.
before we go, what can people do to tell the board right now, don't vote for this, this is no good?
Here's what to do: burn up their email boxes, burn up their phones, okay? It's listed in QST. I think you should burn up their, if you're a member, burn up their phones, fill their voicemail boxes, right? En masse.
Mm-hmm.
They're likely not going to listen to it, right? What's going to happen is that inevitably, and people are already asking, there are going to be elections this year, and there are people in key positions in elections that need to feel the sting of defeat because that caused them pause the last time, right? So that's what needs to happen. The other thing is there's a recall mechanism to recall directors. Get ready to sign your name on some of these recall petitions because that is the only way they will listen. They will only listen when they lose their mini vacation to the board meeting, when they lose their Marriott points, when they lose their frequent flyer miles, when they lose their red badges and prestige. That's the only way they're going to listen.
Good, good. Rhea, so thank you so much for joining the show. Thanks for educating me and educating anybody that might be listening still. All right, guys, you got to stay tuned for part 2 of this thing. I'm going to talk to the guy who basically broke the story. It goes a lot deeper, and in all fairness, I did try to reach out to David Meisner from the ARRL. I ended up leaving him an email. Dan Marler from the Idaho section sent me some links to a town hall meeting where a couple of the directors, the board of directors in, I believe, New England did like a town hall. I'm going to post a link to that. So if you guys want to look at it, feel free. Anyway, stand by for part 2 of the Bylaw 46 debate.
Your call cannot be completed at this time. Please try again later.
Oh.
En este momento no se puede.
Okay. So David's number isn't working.